Hello everyone, and welcome to another Drawing and Talking episode with me, Freebie Wits, your host. And today we're taking a look and drawing about Ophelia, played by and created by someone on Roleplay Repository named Queen Knight. Ophelia, in the universe in which she was made, was, well, literally made. She's a porcelain doll golem-like creature made by her father. Which to me makes the name Ophelia a bit misleading in such, since Ophelia is kind of the mother-son thing, which, now that I think about it, is also really misleading in that the original tale of Ophelia, the son finding out about his mother, is what, makes him not happy. But age-old myths aside, Ophelia is a golem made in the likeness of the inventor/creator's daughter. She grew up helping her father with experiments, taking care of him, that sort of thing. Now, as you might imagine, her being a golem, she's very long-lived, and her father, her creator, not so much. So eventually, well, he died, and she spent the next few days taking care of the place. She called home, and when she went outside, she tried to help other people, but, well, she's a creepy golem-like creature, and everybody was a bit freaked out until she stumbled across a monastery where she was accepted and treated equally. Now, that said, the nuns began to pass away, and she was left alone. Now, the backstory doesn't explain if the descendants of the nuns, or more specifically, if more nuns came to look after the place, but it's described that the actual place kept going until it started falling apart and crumble. From there, she moved to the underground tunnels where she begins to fall asleep and await a new purpose. As far as a backstory, my goodness, I love everything about it. Some of you may not know this, but I am a big fan of robots and what it means to be called alive and such. The iRobot movie, the Geth from Mass Effect, all these things, I love them a lot. Having played a character similar to Ophelia in that they were artificial and then they woke up after a long amount of time, I feel that they could be put into any number of types of scenarios. They could be woken up by a band of adventurers wanting to go on, well, an adventure and a big quest. It could be found by a single person who then takes them to a new home, a farmer, a knight, and another inventor. It could be anyone who finds her and gives her a new story. Now, despite the lack of martial background, in theory, they could be woken up by another adventurer and be taught how to fight. So they could be inserted into any sort of tabletop RPG, really. Once again, it's just, this is what we have here is a backstory for a backstory. The rest of the backstory could just be as simple as they were found by a mage who taught her magic and now she can shoot fireballs. For a low power type tabletop RPG, it could just be they woke up and they don't know anything about fighting. There we go for it. That said, it does mention that she did learn how to experiment with her father, or more specifically, she helped him with his experiments. So it stands to reason that she could have picked up a few sciencey type skills. She could build equipment, she could maintain them, use them, that sort of idea. As a LARP character, she has 4 arms. It wasn't explained in her backstory, but she has 4 arms in the art that I've seen. And while it's awesome and fun, it's not really practical in LARP since us in real life don't really have 4 arms ourselves. You could, in theory, just have the other 2 arms stay by at the side or hugging yourself, that sort of thing. After all, we as human beings don't have tails or wings, but we can stick them on ourselves to look aesthetically pleasing. Same thing with the other 2 arms for LARP anyways, even if they wouldn't serve any practical purpose. When I drew her, I decided to focus more on her inhuman side. It mentioned that she was creepy, and that's what I sort of went with. Porcelain dolls by default are creepy, and while I could have done that little chubby little doll with the hair and the dead eyes, I just went with the dead eyes on its own. I'm not sure if I succeeded, but I do think I crossed that creepy line, and well, the 4 arms were quite fun. And her having taken care of the nuns and her old man, I thought it'd be fitting to have her dressed up as a maid. Well, an old English noble, I suppose, Victorian era type character, with a broom and cleaning implements. I don't know how accurate that is to the story, but it's what I felt fit with the character. She looks a bit stilted, she looks a bit off-center, but still symmetrical to some degree. Bit too perfect in some parts and imperfect in others, that just fires off that part of the brain that says this is not natural and this is creepy. It was an absolute blast to draw her. Anyways, that's Ophelia from Roleplay Repository, and I hope you've had a wonderful time watching my video, hearing my voice. Have a good day, everybody, and bye-bye.